Привет, Berserkers. So how about we talk about some PvP? Aces of bases, let's do it. In this video, I'm going to give a couple of tips and hints on what to keep an eye out for in PvP. And these tips or hints can be some things that you've heard before, but mainly if you haven't, hopefully these will help provide a stronger team support. It's always best to work better as a team than by yourself. And hopefully I can give a tiny bit of insight on how to win Battlegrounds more often than not. Some of these may not work out. It all depends really on your team. But if everyone played like as a team, there wouldn't be anyone losing Battlegrounds, right? But with randoms, if you don't know what to do in PvP, then hopefully this will help you. If it doesn't, I apologize. If you already know all this stuff, then keep being a beast and keep doing what you're doing. You're doing amazing. I'm only going to talk about tactics mostly, not really game mode objectives. I will use some examples, but that is a video for another day. I just want to point out as well that some of these are subject to change depending on which battleground you're in. But let's get started. Number 1, try not to suck. I'm only joking, of course. You can take that to heart if you need the motivation. But if not, let's move on to the actual number 1. Your spec. Learning your buttons is probably the best advice anyone can give to someone going into PvP or someone that's learning a new spec. Learning what slows your target, crowd controls or CCs, which provides your target with a loss of control effect, making them unable to move, cast spells, etc. And also which buttons can hit the hardest for a burst, to help kill healers or deadly damage classes. Frost Death Knights. Enhanced Shamans. Oh, man. I really gotta get that cold looked at. Also, which helps you remove these effects, allowing you to run faster, remove damage, or just simple damage reduction. Once you know what all of your abilities do, you can practice them in the best way. Just zerg right into the battlegrounds. Baptism by fire. Just do that. Eventually, you'll know your spec very well, and you'll be able to destroy anything. Number 2, be in a wolf pack. Let's take, for example, Arathi Basin. It is a conquest match which requires you to capture flags and hold them for points. Out of 5 bases, you must control at least 3 to ensure that you can beat the other team. Now this is where smaller wolf packs are formed into assaulting bases. Out of 15 people, you'll have a couple on defense, and you'll have these small clusters of groups attacking bases. Now, if you're new to the PvP scene, or you're just simply undergeared, this of course being before Legion where PvP gear won't matter as much, I highly recommend that you stay either with a healer or with one of these smaller wolf packs. But if you're with a healer, you have kind of an obligation. A healer is support for you and your team, that is, especially for assaulting bases and nodes. So you have to keep an eye on them. Hold their hand, if you will. If there are, for example, 4 of you, 1 healer and 3 DPS, and you run into a group of 4 enemies that are all DPS, you can eventually overpower them. Unless they destroy your healer, or CC it, and then destroy you first. And I've seen this happen before. If you do have a healer, you are less powerful, but you can simply win by having more support than you. But if they kill your healer, you might as well just run away or just go down swinging. You'll have to peel for your healer. In other words, provide crowd control for the targets that are attacking your healer. Let's say for the other 2 DPS on your team are attacking and no one is supporting your healer, then you stunning or slowing the targets that are attacking your healer helps so much. It makes a monumental difference. But what if they have a healer? What if the roles reversed? As long as one of you is putting a ton of pressure on the healer and the others are attacking the DPS, the healer won't be able to keep you all up. I've seen this happen countless times in Arena, and can be taken into Battlegrounds as well. That tactic will work across the board. If all the DPS are attacking the enemy healer, perfect. You can burn the healer, then burn the DPS, because you overpower them with the damage. But as long as that healer is being either burned down or CC'd. But what if you are the healer in a battleground? Well, then you're going to support your team and save some lives. If your team is pushing a base without a healer, go give them a hand. CC anything that you can, as well as, attack maybe, give a little bit of damage here and there, but throw in as much healing as you can. Every point of healing is a point of useless attacks they made against your team. Number 3, Battleground Awareness. By pressing M and checking your map, often is very helpful. You will see where you are needed in any battleground for a push. Even by pressing Shift M, it'll open a small map on your screen so you don't have to keep checking the big one. This, along with checking the chat for people calling things out, also gives you the options as to where you're wanted or where support is desperately needed. And don't forget to use the chat as well. Communication is key for survival and for victory. If you find yourself alone on a road attacking something, try to regroup with your team and try to destroy flag carriers, healers and nodes, etc. This means a lot more to your team than you'll ever know. Number 4, be annoying. It's time to get the enemy to make some mistakes. If you're ranged, kite them around, slow them, and, if they try and run away, then you simply charge them and kill them. And if you're a rogue, sap anything you can on the road, especially healers. If you see a healer alone somewhere going to support a base, just sap it as often as you can. Then open up on it, slow it, blind it, do whatever you can to delay that healer to give your team the upper hand. If you see your comrade fighting alone on the road, and he's fine, he doesn't need any help, just sat there and clap at him and just watch. Just watch the show. And don't forget to wave goodbye to the dying enemy. And what does this do? It makes them hesitate, it makes them angry, it makes them make mistakes. If you keep them upset, they'll keep making mistakes. I've seen upset people come back and attempt to kill me on so many occasions, it's not even funny. And also, it means they're detrimental to their, when you're fighting a target, slow it, run around it, jump around. Basically, this is the advice people hate to give, but it works. It works a lot. You ever been in a battleground and you look, you're like, wow, that guy is such an idiot. Look what he's doing. Come on, fight like a man. Don't. Be annoying. If you want to win, just be annoying. But don't let this turn into a little mini game for you. Only be annoying if it doesn't work against your team. And don't punish the same player over and over on the road again. Just because it's fun, go help your team instead of getting that one honor kill. Number 5, endure battles of attrition. Now, this piece of advice is really important. And it is the one piece of advice I can give to people that I've seen people turn their backs on more times than not. If the enemy's team is strong, and it looks like they may overpower you, and it turns into a really long battle, endure it. Never give up. I can't count how many times I've seen GG in the chat when we lose one base at the start of the match, and we end up winning later. If you have to turtle it, so be it. In places like our Alterac Valley, if you turtle, which means you basically just keep your team together and just keep killing instead of taking the bases, so be it. A win is a win. The moment you start giving up is the moment you lose, not at the losing score screen. If you die at the start of a fight, let's say you all run up on Wrathy Basin and head to Lumber Mill, you die immediately and you respawn and your team's still fighting, go right back. Go right back and you pound the enemy into the ground and you make them cry out for green Jesus. If your whole team never gives up, you'll become victorious more times than you can even imagine, other than the times that you've given up. Let's say if your healer gives up and just debases. There's only 2 healers in your battleground and they both just defense or, they call it, they're like, whatever, I'm not going to do anything. They just costed you the game because they're not supporting anything. Yeah, I know it might be irritating to die a couple times, but you never give up. You never stop healing. You never stop being annoying. You be a berserker and you fight non-stop until the game is over. Number 6, Stormwind Park wasn't rebuilt in a day. Learning your class and spec is very important, and it can take a lot of time, especially when Blizzard keeps changing everything, every freaking expansion. Sorry, that hit a little close to home. But just keep practicing your spec. Keep taking the time and keep putting in the time, and you will be fine. Back in Wrath, when I was getting into Feral PvP, I got tips from people, like for macros and key bindings, that made things so much easier. And I got all these tips from the community. But you keep at the class you love the most. You don't play what's considered overpowered. Frost Death Knights. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Unless you love to play one, of course. But if you love your class, you are more likely to learn it and excel at it. Your persistence will pay off, and you will be rewarded for it, I promise you. Number 7, community strength. If you want to know specific things about your class that can be very helpful, other than me giving, these tiny bit of little tiny tactics, a hardcore or even fun casual PvP guild can help you with whatever you need. It's always better to ask and know than to hope that eventually you'll just get it on your own. And I like to believe that even the best PvPers and raiders got advice from someone else, either via YouTube or a guild member at some point in their WoW career. Heck, I still get advice on tunes that I really don't play much. Websites help me still with my feral. And, well, I'm always still looking for ways to get better. Number 8. Take criticism, but ignore trolling. Some of these tips are more motivational than things to actually help you fight. But this one can help out a lot of people. A lot of the time you'll just see you suck at Battlegrounds or uninstall. But just ignore these people. As long as you're trying, and it does not matter. Especially in a random battleground. People can give great insight. And this one kind of goes hand in hand with community strength. So what's actually called 7.5? You ask and people say, oh, why don't you try this talent or this rotation? Try it out. Don't stop trying new things. If you don't like it, go back to the old one and get better at it. It's good to take criticism because it means that there's a way to improve. And nobody is perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. Basically PvP comes down to who made the least mistakes. But hopefully this one will help you as well. The actual number 8. Be quick. PvP rotations and macros can help a ton with whichever buttons you press, especially when you're bursting. But the biggest thing you can do to keep sharp is how quickly you can hit these buttons. The faster you can turn around with your mouse, hold down those 2 clickers and you spin that mouse, the quicker you can slow the enemy, the quicker you can hit them, burst them, CC. And once you get all these muscle memories down, you will find that PvP is so much easier. As long as you can be quick, you can practice spinning yourself around and clicking on enemies as quick as you can. And you can use this on target dummies, but as well as people in Battlegrounds. So when you're sitting on a flag and not knowing what to do, just tab target or click through enemies. And the quicker you can switch between your abilities, you can get your fingers down on the keys, which one's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, this is where 3 is. So you can just keep clicking between those all, and you'll get it down so fast it won't even be funny. Just remember to turn on those nameplates by pressing V. Number 9, exploit your enemy's weakness. Death Knights, for example, hate being slowed. Same with Druids, which is why you spam them with slows so they become useless. If a feral Druid bursts, you see him go into that armored cat form, you stun him, get the heck away from him, and just wait out his burst. And guess what? Feral's useless now. Hitting a healer with a healing debuff, I'm talking to you, warriors, get that mortal strike out. It can also be effective. Each class and spec, or role, I should say, has an exploit. And if you use it, you'll have an easier time bringing them down. Being a fire mage basically just gives you dominion over melee. You can just, cast and move, and just keep moving. It's ridiculous. I'm glad it's getting changed. Or if you're a destruction warlock, just chaos bolt healers on the ground. 3 of them and the healer's dead. So basically, if you're fighting a melee as a ranged, just kite them. Keep them slowed, keep them stunned. Try to avoid their damage. If they leap to you or get close to you, pop a defensive and then get away from them again. And then you just keep destroying them and you make them pray for loud green Jesus. And if you're fighting ranged, keep them interrupted and slowed. If you can line of sight them and stay there, good. Don't fight a ranged on their terms. Make them fight on yours. And remember to interrupt whenever you can. Stuns are also very useful. Healers you want to CC as much as possible. But mostly when they burst. This means when you see wings on a paladin or a big tree walking around, crowd control your heart out. And then when their burst is over, you burst them into the ground and interrupt when possible. As for tanks, keep them stunned so they can't mitigate damage. That's all for them. And finally, number 10, have fun. After all, it's a game that people should be playing solely for the purpose of enjoyment. I can't tell you how many times I've been frustrated at this game, more times than I can count. And I need to keep this a lot more in my heart as I continue my journeys in Azeroth. The more you love to play, the more fun you have, the more you'll be willing to play, the more you'll be willing to stick things out. A lot of people are just looking for an easy this. And I think a lot of people aren't just standing back and enjoying the experience. I see so much negativity in the community now. Don't be one of those people. Have fun. Just if your fun is to go into a battleground and just get the highest healing you can, perfect, you're helping out your team. Get the highest damage you can, you're still helping your team. If you're going to go in there and get 20 kills, no deaths, perfect. Do that. Just have fun. And this should trump everything I've talked about. If you don't find any of this not fun, then don't do it. Just have fun. I would like to thank you guys so much for your overwhelming support. And I hope you'll stick with me as I continue my journey on YouTube. As always, please like the video if you liked it. And if you want to be a berserker, then hit that subscribe button. And I'll thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll talk to you later. See ya.